Just wanted to follow up on the student loan debt forgiveness.
Yeah.
In the announcement, the Undersecretary of Education said, "We congratulate those borrowers on their due forgiveness." I'm just wondering why people who take out a loan to go to school, then go to school, why are they due forgiveness?
Everybody has a different story as to why they need student loans. Everybody has a different reasoning as to why they want to go to college. I cannot speak for everyone.
Why is forgiveness due to them?
What we have been very clear about is the system, the student loan system needs to be fixed. The president is trying to do that and fix it in a way where people are not feeling that crushing financial burden that they deal with when they leave college. And that is something that they shouldn't have to. They should be given a little bit of breathing room. That is something that, by the way, that's something that majority of Americans agree on, to be given a little bit of breathing room so that they could.
More than half disagree
Well,
with
that's
using
one
tax
poll.
dollars.
That's one poll.
But
That's one
a
poll.
follow-up question.
Yeah, sure.
Does the administration think that student loan debt cancellation contributes to inflation?
What we believe is student debt cancellation gives an opportunity for Americans to start a life, to buy a house, to start a family. That adds to the economy. That is also important to the economy.
Hey, this is the Political Brown Kid, and it's videos like this that make me not want to support Democrats. So for all you Democrats out there, I don't know what else to tell you, but this is it's very unfortunate on all different levels, and I'm just going to say that. And I'm not trying to, and that's what my channel really is about. I'm the Political Brown Kid. I do try to do socioeconomic issues. And this is one of those just topics that I'm going to revisit because I've already talked about this before. I don't understand how people in America or anywhere could want to support debt or student loan forgiveness and just write off student loans debts for no particular reason at all. That doesn't even make sense. And let me just say this. These are people that willingly took out a student loan. And I don't know who you took it out from, whether you took it out through the government program or whether you secured a private loan through a private bank. But there's no reason why we should be writing off student loan debt for people who willingly signed up for a student loan. In this woman's answer, KJP, I think that's what they call her answer is just totally ridiculous. And it's not rooted in, she doesn't provide any concrete or detailed analysis or justification for why we're writing off hundreds of billions, tens of billions of dollars, if not hundreds of billions of dollars in student loan debt. And the only answer that she can come up with is that so people can live their dreams. Okay, well, I would love for my housing costs to be written off so I can live my dream and save more money and do whatever it is that I want to do. I may want to take out a loan for a car and decide that I don't want to pay for the car anymore, but I want to keep the car. What she's talking about makes zero sense. That's the reason why, people should be planning and have 529 accounts. Listen, I always said before, every action has a reaction. And there's a certain thing or certain statement in the law that says ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And so in this case, ignorance of how society works and ignorance of financial matters is not an excuse for people to say, oh, you're a victim of American society, so we'll write off your debt. If you don't know about opening 529 accounts when your child is first born, and you don't immediately click in your mind to say, oh, I need to open up a 529, this kid may want to go to college, that's your parents' fault or your fault, whichever one you end up on. If you want to go to college and you don't want to work 2 and 3 jobs or one job to pay for your college as you go through it and, live at home and eat, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches until you make it through for 4 years, that's your fault if you took out a student loan and you don't want to pay the loan back. Society has sacrifices, and we just can't start creating soft individuals and tell people that their financial obligations can get written off because they're in a hard place. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. I did the video before. There's no incentive for colleges, because trust me, I own real estate. I own real estate currently. I own rental properties. And I can tell you this, if the government is paying for my rental, and that's part of another reason too why a lot of people like renting to the government, because you know you're going to get your money. But if the government just starts writing off my tenants' debts, the government isn't writing the debt off and telling me I can't collect rent. The government's just paying their rent on their behalf. That's what this student loan debt forgiveness is. They're not going to the colleges. They're not going to Harvard and Yale and whatever university of whatever state you live in. They're not going to those universities and saying, oh, and by the way, you're not going to get this money because this debt, you have to forgive it. No, the government is actually taking taxpayer dollars and they're actually paying the debt on behalf of the particular individuals. That's what's happening. So when the government does that, what is the incentive for the colleges or universities to say, well, maybe our tuition's too high? Because if somebody's going to pay their debt off for them, the university doesn't care. They're just going to continue to raise rates. And that's why I think Bernie Sanders' approach was actually pretty good to say, hey, look, make your state university a free university, or maybe probably low cost. That probably would be a better option. Just tie it up into the taxes, make the state universities very cheap or free. And in that way, it would force these other universities to compete with the state universities and say, okay, we need to get our prices down, because if students have this option, they're going to flood and go here to the cheaper options. So that's the only reason how prices are going to come down with these universities. But if the government just keeps intervening and writing off debt, all you're going to have is what we have now. We continually face debt ceilings, and we do this every year, regardless of whatever. But the student loan debt is a part of why we're continually having debt ceiling issues, why we have inflation issues right now. And they don't want to make the correlation, and they don't want to admit it, as you see in this video with this woman here. They just don't want to admit what they're doing is wrong. And here's the other problem that I have. Everyone, because trust me, I have family members, and we actually had a 1 hour debate on this particular topic. And trust me, these family members that I have, they're all about, okay, I need to get mines from the system, because they can empathize with people getting debt write-offs, because they filed, how many bankruptcies? I think they filed at least 3 bankruptcies. I'm talking about my family members that are justifying writing off student loan debt. And it seems like people like this are always the people that have hardships and can't get their financial situations under control. These are always the people that strongly advocate for debt forgiveness. But yet, these same family members that are advocating for debt forgiveness literally pulled their kid out of college because the kid wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. I'm not making this up. They literally said, you wasted our money. We're not sending you back. And they basically told the kid, we're not paying for your education. So this is my point. Why should I have to pay for a bunch of kids that went to college? I don't know these people. Let their family, if their family members want to write off their debt, then let the family collectively get together. It takes a village. Let your village take care of your child or children, and I'll take care of whatever child or children that are in my village. But I don't have time to sit up here and say, I'm going to go ahead and pay for XYZ person to go ahead and get a degree, and I don't know this person. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to give you another example. I have a female friend, and I've talked about her on several times in these channels and in comment sections. She just can't get her life together. She went to school. She has a degree. I'm not going to say what field it is, because I don't want people to know. I don't want that person to know that I'm talking about them on the internet. But she has a degree in one particular field. She won't get a job in that field. She literally walked off another job. She got a degree. So I'm just like, you have a bachelor's. Why don't you work? But yet she chose some job doing it's when I say menial work, it was menial work. And then she walked off the job um, because she got frustrated at one point in time. Just walked off and quit. This is what she told me. And then she called me about 6 months ago. She's taken signed up for another degree because she wanted to get a degree in this other area. Then she quit that after taking that she went for 1 semester, 1 or 2 semesters, and then she dropped out. Then she said she wanted to get a certification to do, I think is it billing? And I could be wrong. I didn't know you needed to get to have a certification to do billing, but she wanted to do that, and then she quit that. And then she just called me the other day to talk about like how does she get her situations, like she's trying to figure out what she wants to do because she realized she can't work for other people. I'm not making this stuff up. Y'all think I'm probably making this up, but I'm trying to be selective with the details because I don't want to because she can probably make one and put two and two together and figure, oh, this joke is talking about me. But I'm putting out a point like, why is this person getting all of these degrees and signing up for classes, then dropping out, then signing up, has a degree, won't even work in the field she has the degree in, and then pursuing all of these other degrees? So why should I have to pay for these other kids who willingly signed an agreement to pay back a student loan and they get a free education? I'm just trying to figure it out. I take care of mine. So why can't everybody else take care of theirs? But this is where we reach the point with, and this is why I say with the frustration, and trust me, I have frustrations with Republicans too. That's why I am not affiliated with neither one of those parties. But it is things like this that makes me super frustrated with the Democrat Party. Not to mention, matter of fact, I just saw a video, and I should do a video on it. It was a homeless guy. I think it's somewhere on the West Coast. It's a homeless guy, and he was talking about the one night it got cold, so he asked to sleep in one of the vans. Apparently, there's some buses that they allow the immigrants to sleep on, the illegal immigrants to sleep on. And apparently, he asked could he come on the bus, and he was rejected because he was not an illegal immigrant. He's a U.S. citizen, and he's homeless, but he has to sleep out in the cold. But yet, we provide all of these resources to people who are illegally here, illegal, undocumented immigrants, whatever you want to call them. They've taken over New York, taken over public fields that people pay property taxes for, and yet they have to shut those fields down just so that the immigrants can have a place to stay. And then we have stuff like this with student loan debt. We're not teaching people to be financially responsible or accountable. Then that's the one thing. Once you start, and guys and women, if you all been watching the internet and if you all been playing in these spaces where people are talking about dating and relationships, and you hear men talk about women don't have accountability, and I'm not trying to say this true or false in this video, we'll save that for another time. But what I'm trying to say is this, is that if you don't think that the women have accountability, and that's the reason why they act the way they're acting in the dating market today, and women, I'm not bashing, I'm just saying that that's what the guys are saying. But if you're taking that particular stance, then you have to take the stance that if we're not holding people financially accountable to say, you took out this student loan, therefore you need to be accountable for you signing up and your actions to take this money and get an education and agree to pay it back under these terms, and you need to be held accountable and you need to be responsible to do so. And if we're going to teach them to dodge accountability, all you're going to teach people to do is to grow up, accrue debt, and then file for bankruptcy or demand that somebody else pay for them and take care of them, because we're spoiling people. We're spoiling people with money that we don't even have as a country. The country, what y'all don't realize is this country is broke. And when I say broke, I mean financially. We're borrowing a lot of money. We're trillions of dollars in debt. And the debt's not coming down anytime soon. So this is just my thought on the matter. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Once again, this is the Political Brown Kid. I'm out of here.